Not all carry guns are created equal. You know that, right? And let's face it, most people stick with what's popular, but real shooters know what actually works. What's up, everyone? This is Sully from Line45, and today I'm giving you a rundown of the handguns that serious carriers choose, not because they're flashy, but because they get the job done. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below. The subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now buckle up and let's get back to the video. Springfield Armory Hellcat Pro Comp OSP. When Springfield dropped the Hellcat Pro Comp OSP, I didn't think much of it at first. I figured it was just another micro compact with a few tweaks. But after spending a full day on the range with one, I walked away thinking this might be one of the smartest carry pistols I've run in a long time. What stood out most was how flat it shot without needing an external comp hanging off the front of the barrel. The Pro Comp keeps the same dimensions as the regular Hellcat Pro, but Springfield went a step further by integrating the compensator into the barrel and slide. The ports sit right up top, venting gases upward the moment the round leaves the chamber. Recoil control was noticeably better, especially when I ran double taps at speed. The dot barely moved with each shot. It holds 15 rounds, flush 17 with the extended mag, and it only weighs 21 ounces. That's a big win for a gun this slim, especially with the adaptive grip texture. My hands stayed locked in during rapid strings, and I liked how the frame gives you those subtle reference points for your thumb and trigger finger. The trigger is around 7 pounds with a long reset. It's not light, but for a defensive pistol, that's exactly what I want. No surprises, just predictable pulls every time. The tritium front sight sits further back on the slide to stay clear of the gas ports, and you still get Springfield's U-notch rear. Add in the RMSC optics cut, and the whole setup feels well thought out and not rushed. If you want a carry gun that shoots flatter runs clean and actually feels like it was built for serious use, this one earns its place. Now for the next one. Sig Sauer P320X10 Comp. There's no shortage of P320 variants out there, but the P320X10 Comp isn't just another model. After shooting nearly every major 10mm on the market, I can confidently say this is one of the most shootable and well-balanced 10mm pistols you can carry in 2025. Sig took the raw muscle of the original P320X10 and made it more refined, more controllable, and more purpose-built for serious shooters. What makes it stand out is the compensator design. Instead of just cutting ports in the slide side, engineered an actual blast chamber into the slide itself. When paired with the 3.8-inch barrel, it vents gases upward with real authority. Recoil from hot 10mm loads, especially lightweight, high-pressure rounds like the 115-grain Honey Badger, is noticeably softer than what I've felt on any Glock G20 or Springfield XDM 10mm. Double taps stayed flatter, and follow-ups were much faster on target. That's a game changer when you're shooting heavy loads for backcountry or duty applications. It holds 15 plus 1 rounds, weighs 32 ounces unloaded, and uses Sig's familiar modular fire control unit inside a polymer X-Series frame. The grip texture is laser-etched and locks your hand in without feeling too aggressive. Controls are ambidextrous, and the mag release is reversible, which is perfect for lefties. The slide is finished in black nitron and cut for a Delta Point Pro optic footprint, which matched perfectly with my loophole DPP during testing. Accuracy was stellar. I averaged 1.6-inch groups at 15 yards with a mix of 10mm defensive loads. The stock flat-face trigger breaks at 5 pounds 9 ounces, but if you want to tighten that up, I highly recommend KGM Technologies' Enhanced Trigger Kit. I tested it and got a crisp 3.5-pound break with a shorter reset, a huge upgrade for fast, accurate shooting. At $950 MSRP, this gun punches into a class of its own. Experts carry it because it tames 10mm without compromising performance, and it runs flawlessly, even under stress. If you're serious about carrying a 10mm, this is the one to beat. Next gun, FN Reflex XLMRD. FN has built its reputation on delivering duty-ready guns, and when they announced the Reflex XLMRD, I knew it wasn't going to be a half-baked entry into the micro-compact market. I've carried their full-size pistols in rough conditions and shot them in heavy rain and dry desert heat, so when I picked up the Reflex XL, I was looking for the same rugged reliability in a smaller frame, and that's exactly what I got. What impressed me right off the bat was how well the pistol fit in my hands for something this compact. The grip geometry is spot on. The extended beaver tail, the new palm swell, and the undercut trigger guard all work together to give me a high, tight grip that stayed consistent through fast drills. FN includes interchangeable back straps, which let me fine-tune it even further. It felt custom fit, not generic. The trigger is where the Reflex XL separates itself. It's an internal hammer-fired single-action-only design, and the break is clean at around 5 pounds. It reminded me more of a compact competition gun than a traditional EDC piece. It let me get tighter follow-up shots with far less effort than most striker-fired carry pistols. Accuracy was no issue either. That 3.8-inch cold hammer-forged barrel with a recessed crown delivered consistent center mass hits out to 20 yards. It ships optics ready, and I mounted a Holosun 507K directly into the slide cut with no adapters. The factory tritium front sight and U-notch rear co-witnessed perfectly with the optic and made transitions smooth. FN also ships it with both 15 and 18-round magazines. That gives you duty-level firepower in something that still disappears under a t-shirt. It weighs just 20 ounces, and the overall profile makes it one of the easiest pistols I've ever carried without giving up control. For anyone serious about concealed carry, this gun earns its place. Now, if you're chasing control speed and all-metal precision in your sidearm, wait until we get into the CZ Shadow 2 carry. CZ Shadow 2 carry. There's something different about the way a CZ rides in the hand. The first time I ran the Shadow 2 carry through a defensive pistol course, I wasn't thinking about its specs. I was focused on how naturally the gun tracked from target to target. It felt fast, deliberate, and incredibly stable, which is exactly what I want from a serious carry gun built for shooters who train hard. This isn't just a downsized competition gun. It's built on a lightweight EN-AW7075 T6 aluminum alloy frame cutting weight, without giving up that planted feel CZs are known for. At 30.4 ounces, it's lighter than the full steel Shadow 2, but still heavier than most striker-fired carry guns, which gives it that edge and recoil control during rapid strings. The double-action Dart single-action setup is tuned for carry. The double-action pull is just under 12 pounds smooth and deliberate, while the single-action pull breaks around 4 pounds and changes. Instead of a manual safety, it uses ambidextrous decockers, which is a smart move for a carry piece. I prefer a system that lets me draw and fire without extra thinking, and this setup keeps it simple while still giving me the safety margin of that heavy first pull. It comes optics ready with an RMSC footprint cut directly into the slide. I paired mine with a Holosun, and the factory ledge-style rear sight co-witnessed perfectly. The 4-inch cold hammer-forged barrel keeps the groups tight, and the full-length dust cover includes a built-in rail for lights or lasers. The grip shape is classic CZ deep contour, perfect undercut, and it just locks into my palm without adjustment. Everything about the gun feels deliberate, refined, and built with the shooter in mind. For around $1,300, it's not cheap, but the performance speaks for itself. If you're looking for a pistol that turns recoil into rhythm, the Shadow 2 carry is one to trust. So next gun, Sig Sauer P226 MK25. There's a reason the MK25 has stayed in my rotation, even with all the newer optics-ready striker-fired guns on the market. Every time I take it to the range, it reminds me why Sig's P-Series pistols earned their reputation the hard way through years of military and real-world service. The MK25 isn't about flash, it's about trust. This is the same platform issued to Navy SEALs built to handle saltwater sand and rough handling without missing a beat. The slide is machined from solid stainless steel and the frame is anodized aluminum. It's rock solid in the hand, and that extra weight helps settle the muzzle faster between shots. Mine came with phosphate-coated internals and a chrome-lined barrel, which I found to clean up easier after high round count sessions. There's zero concern about rust or wear even when I carry it in humid environments. The trigger is what I'd call old-school dependable. The double-action pull is long and smooth, and the single-action brake is clean. The reset isn't short like Sig's SRT kits, but it's tactile and consistent. I've shot thousands of rounds through this platform and never felt like the trigger held me back. The Sig Light night sights are still bright after years of carry, and the standard Picatinny rail makes it easy to run a Surefire or Streamlight without an adapter. What I appreciate most is that the MK25 doesn't try to be everything for everyone. It does one job, and it does it very well. It's a combat pistol built for rugged reliability and solid mechanical accuracy. At around $1,300, it isn't cheap, but it earns its price every time it cycles. Clean hits center mass and runs without drama. If your idea of a serious pistol includes steel history and a track record under pressure, the MK25 still belongs in your lineup. Now, if you want that same level of performance in a more compact but equally capable format, the next gun is going to impress you. Smith & Wesson M&P9 M2.0 metal. The first thing I noticed pulling the M&P9 M2.0 metal from the case was how deceptively light it felt for a pistol with a full aluminum frame. After years behind polymer-framed striker pistols, I was curious how this would run during longer drills. A few magazines into my first range session, I knew this wasn't just a dressed-up M&P. The extra rigidity from the 70-75 T6 aluminum alloy frame translates into faster transitions and a more controlled recoil impulse that you can feel with every press of the trigger. The 4.22-inch stainless barrel balances well with the slide, and the tungsten gray finish doesn't just look good, it's tough. I've run mine through both indoor matches and dusty outdoor courses, and the finish still looks clean with only minor wear near the ejection port. The optic-ready slide comes with adapter plates, and I had no trouble mounting a Holosun 5007C. The included metal 3-dot night sights also co-witnessed well enough for backup. What really sealed the deal for me was the flat-face trigger. It breaks right around 5 pounds, is clean, and has very little creep. On target transitions, the reset was short and tactile, making controlled pairs, and build drills easy to clean up at speed. The grip, with its interchangeable backstraps and aggressive texturing, gives me a locked-in feel without chewing up my hands during longer sessions. Even smaller details like the undercut trigger guard and ambidextrous slide stop show that Smith & Wesson built this with serious shooters in mind. With an MSRP of around $890, the M&P9 M2.0 metal punches above its weight class in terms of build performance and adaptability. It's become one of my go-to choices for both training and carry when I want a bit more stability without going full steel. Beretta M9A4. The Beretta 92 was one of the first full-size pistols I ever trained with, and it left a permanent mark on how I understand recoil control, trigger discipline, and mechanical reliability. So when I picked up the M9A4, it felt like a return to something familiar, but this time it was completely modernized. Beretta didn't just update the old platform, they re-engineered it to fit the way we shoot today. The slide is now optic-ready machined with a plate system that makes it easy to mount modern red dots. I installed a Trijicon SRO with the Beretta plate kit, and it was rock solid. The upgraded tritium night sights are dovetailed in drift adjustable and glow bright in low light. They're a major step up from what Beretta offered years ago. One of the smartest changes is the decocker-only setup. On the M9A4, it springs back into place after use, so there's no chance of accidentally leaving the safety engaged under pressure. That gives me the confidence to carry the pistol with a round chambered, using that long double-action pull as my first layer of security. My double-action pull measured around 9.5 pounds, and the single-action break came in at 5.5. Paired with Beretta's Extreme trigger system, the reset is short and tactile. The Vertec grip frame fits my hands far better than the older M9 models, and I really like the aggressive checkering and the flat profile grip panels. That said, I still swapped in the included wraparound grips for winter carry with gloves. The threaded barrel lets me run a suppressor or a comp, which adds versatility depending on what I'm doing that day at the range or on duty. At around $1, $200, the M9A4 earns its place. It's a gun that honors the 92's legacy, but is built for today's shooter. But the next gun is certainly solid. Staccato P. If you've ever put serious time behind a 2011 platform, you know exactly why the Staccato P stands where it does. I've carried, trained with, and pushed mine through everything from muddy range days to wet Pacific Northwest winters. And I can say this without hesitation. It's one of the few pistols that feels like it was built with professionals in mind from day one. The Staccato P is chambered in 9mm built on a full-size 2011 steel frame with a 4.4-inch bull barrel. At 33 ounces, it carries some weight, but that's what gives it that planted, controllable recoil impulse. The fit and finish are tight where it matters and forgiving where reliability needs to shine. Unlike some older STI models, I ran years back the Gen 2 Staccato mags. Feed consistently and hold up to long-term abuse. Out of the box, accuracy is stellar. I've shot 1-inch groups at 25 yards with match ammo. The trigger consistently breaks between 4 and 4.2 pounds, which feels just right for a duty or carry gun. Clean break, solid reset. The Dawson Precision Optic System and bright fiber optic sights are easy to track and swap out. Add in the DLC coating and the aggressively textured Gen 3 grip, and you've got a gun that locks into your hand, whether you're cold wet or pushing through a 1,000-round weekend. Its reliability is unbelievable. I've run mine past 10,000 rounds sometimes, going over 1,000 rounds between cleanings. As long as I keep it lightly oiled, the pistol just keeps running. I've carried it in appendix and OWB configurations, through snow rain, and even on a river trip. The finish still looks solid, and the performance hasn't dipped once. At $2,499 to $3,380, depending on configuration, it's not an entry-level piece. But this is a serious pistol for serious shooters. Whether you're running it suppressed, optic equipped, or bone stock, it delivers.